New class. Please join us right here. SunnahFollowers presents a wonderful new class to add to your Islamic education. Sins of Disbelief, taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Rasulullah. Let me welcome everybody to the first class for tonight. This is our Aqeedah class. This is the class where as we are learning what the correct belief system of the Muslim should be. Now, before I go into detail with my lecture, I did post up some shorts yesterday from the class, the lecture I gave a couple of days ago. I put some shorts up about that term Salafi, because this is a term that you're hearing a lot today, and Muslims are telling you that if you're not Salafi, you're not a Muslim. If you don't announce to Salafism, you're a kafir. When you make shahada, unless you included ana Salafiyya in your shahada, you're a kafir. None of this is true. Okay. So what happened is one of the brothers sent me an email today asking me, where did this come from? He asked me if the companions didn't tell people that they had to declare that they were Salafis. He said, if Allah didn't put in the Shahada ana Salafiyya, where is this coming from? Well, I want all the new Shahadas to understand people can innovate, people can deviate, people can put stuff in Islam, they can take stuff out of Islam. People can impose conditions into this religion. They can take rules and regulations out, but those are people. They're not Allah. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that this would happen. He said in the 6th century that Allah let him know that the later generation of Muslims would do this. They would add things into the religion that were not introduced by Allah or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They would change the laws. They would change rules. They would do the same thing that the people that came before us did, changing their books. So this is to be expected because humans are like that. Humans are ignorant by nature. It's the nature of the human being to be ignorant and to think himself all-knowing, to think himself self-sufficient, even self-sufficient compared, sufficient from Allah. So where did this come from? Well, this came from, what happened is as Islam spread throughout the world, after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the caliphates and all after that, Islam, became the 2nd largest religion of the world, as you guys know. And like with any belief system, when people convert to a new ideology, that's why the word is not revert. The word is convert. Because you're adapting a new ideology, a new way of thinking, a new way of living. Revert means to go back to your original substance, like gas going back to water. So revert is not the correct term to use, and it makes me angry as a person with a degree in English, to hear how people butcher our language to the point where we don't understand things anymore. But the true word is convert, because you are converting or adapting a new way of thinking, a new way of living. And whenever that happens, unfortunately, people bring in a lot of baggage. They bring in a lot of their cultural crap, or they bring in a lot of stuff that they just can't get rid of. Just like with Christianity. When Christianity spread through the Viking Empire, the Vikings were the ones who introduced the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree has nothing to do with anything. But what happened was the Vikings worshiped the evergreen tree. And so what they told them is, if you convert to Christianity, you can keep your evergreen tree, and we'll put it with Christmas. And we'll also include your God, Claus. So the same way that happened with the ideologies that came before ours, that's what happened here. A lot of people brought their own innovations into the religion, and to the point where true Islam became watered down, especially with the Persians. When the Persians were defeated under the caliphate of Umar radiallahu anhu, the Persians, they brought into the religion a lot of garbage. They brought into the religion of Islam ideologies of the scholars of the time. They wanted to mix the theories of this non-Muslim, the theories of that non-Muslims with Islam. They introduced science and all that crap, and began to water down our religion to what it is today, where we have a lot of people professing to be Muslims, but they don't believe in the decree of Allah. We have a lot of people professing to be Muslims, but they're picking and choosing what to accept unless science proves it. So what happened is, when the religion of Islam became watered down after the death of the companions, as the companions began to die off, okay, the people that tried to keep the traditional Islam going, they had found themselves in a predicament where it wasn't just enough to say that you were a Muslim. You had to differentiate whether you were a Khawarijite, a Mu'tazili, or were you upon the traditional Islam. So that's when this title began to emerge. It's not a title, it's an action verb. It's a verb in Arabic. Salafi means I am practicing Islam the way that the Prophet Muhammad brought it, with the understanding of the original companions, not the understanding of these Persian people here, not the understanding of these Mu'tazili there, these Kharijites there. So that's when they started ascribing, using that word. You know, it's not a noun. It means I am upon what the Prophet Muhammad came with and those original companions. I'm not a part of that watered down garbage. That's what it basically is in plain, simple, grassroots English. So when you hear people today using that term, most people don't understand that it's not a noun, it's a verb. And you don't have to really tell a person. I don't go around calling myself Salafi. I call myself by the name Allah gave me. I'm a Muslim. All you have to do is listen to how I speak. You can listen to me for 5 minutes and tell if I am upon the traditional Islam that the Prophet Muhammad came with the understanding of those companions, or if I'm a Sufi, or if I'm a Khawarijite. It only takes 5 minutes. So you don't have to go around telling nobody. If a person is a true Salafi, They can recognize another one, because everything that we say is based on what Allah said, what the Prophet said. And if I need to explain something to you, I'm going to give you the companion's understanding. I'm here to tell you guys, most Salafis today are not really Salafis. They're no different than a method, because most people that use that term Salafi, they only follow their certain scholars. If you ask them a question about Islam, they're not going to do like me. They're not going to tell you what the Prophet said and then tell you how what Aisha said it meant, or what Ibn Abbas said it meant. What you're going to hear a lot of these brothers who call themselves Salafis do, they'll say, oh, well, Ibn Taymiyyah said this. Ibn Taymiyyah said that. Imam Hanafi said this. Imam Malik said that. They're no different than the Mathabians. A true Salafi is going to answer with what Allah said, what the Prophet said, and they're going to explain it based on what the companions said. They don't care about, they're not going to mention them other people, because Islam is not based on what they say. Allah doesn't mention anything about nobody but of the Prophet and those companions and the ones after them and the ones after them. And if you truly understand this religion, you ain't got to go further than the first generation, because no human beings will ever understand this religion better than them. When y'all ask me questions and I explain the answers, y'all have never heard me mention nobody from the second generation or the third. I'm always telling y'all what the originals say. So if those people are truly Salafi, they would do the same. You would never hear Imam Malik come out their mouth, Ibn Taymiyyah, or nobody else, but they claim to be Salafi. Okay, so again, that's how it came about. They came about with it to try to differentiate. It was a means of differentiating that I am not upon this watered down crap. I'm practicing the true Islam, the traditional Islam. And that's based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, and what's the source? Sahih Bukhari and Muslim and Muwatta. He said, stick to the traditional Islam. The traditional Islam is what I am upon, and what you, my companions, are upon, and what the first 4 rulers after me are upon. That's the traditional Islam. And that's what that term Salafi means. The traditional Islam. It's not a noun. Y'all understand? Am I making sense? Do you guys understand how that came about now? Is that clear? So, do we call ourselves that? No, we don't call ourselves that. I call myself what I am, a Muslim, a person that submits. Because unless I'm submitting to Allah, how can I call myself a Salafi? Salafi is a verb. The companions were in submission to Allah. They obeyed Allah. You got to be a Muslim first and foremost. That's all it is. If you ain't a Muslim, you ain't going to submit. If you don't submit, you ain't Salafi. So why use that term? Beware of the people who do use it, because you will find the ones that do use it, they're the ones that are twisted. They're the ones that say that women can't be beautiful. Women can't wear colors. Women can't wear makeup. Women got to cover their face. Women cannot teach. Women cannot talk. Women have to lick the pus off you. Women have to prostrate to you. Those are the ones that say that type of garbage. Is that what the companion said? Is that traditional Islam? Is that what the prophet said? No. Did the prophet's wives walk around wearing dark colors? Did the prophet's wives cover their faces and hands? Did the prophet's wives not wear makeup? Were the prophet's wives ugly? Did the prophet's wives teach? Did the prophet's wives speak? They don't know anything about the companions. They don't know anything about the prophet's wives. But they call themselves Salafi. Run away. Run away from them and run away from the Sufis. Run away from anybody that feels the need to put a title in front of what Allah commanded us to call ourselves. Y'all turn away from them. Y'all understand? Am I breaking this down for you, new shahadas? Is that
yes, ma'am?
Okay, good. So that's the reality. Okay, so, but that's how it came about. It was originally, and during our time, the brother's asking, and during our time, we had a great scholar. He's dead now, Sheikh Albani. May Allah forgive him of his sins and make his grave spacious. Sheikh Albani was the one during our time that encouraged the people, to differentiate themselves from the Sufis by using that. But he didn't say to replace the word Muslim with it. That was not what he said. He did not say, don't add it to the Shahada. He didn't do any of that, but that's what happens. Just like the students of the students of the students of the four Imams added all this stuff that the Imams didn't say. The same thing with Sheikh Albani. The students of his added all this crap. Okay? But no, you don't go around saying Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, ana Salafiyya. This is a bid'ah. That's innovation. How can you call yourself Salafi when you sitting here innovating? Did the companions innovate? That's sick. That's sick. And there's different categories. This religion has divided up into over 73 sets. There's about 30-something sets of so-called people that call themselves Salafis. What do y'all think ISIS is? We had a big blow up here in America. Didn't I tell y'all? Let's talk about that for a second. All you Muslims who participated in the Kafir elections, which is haram, voting for the LGBTQ and Kafirs to save Gaza. And then when, I tell y'all to stay out of the politics of the world, like the Prophet told the companions, don't get involved in the politics because Allah's the one in control. What's going on over there in Syria, Iraq, Palestine, Jerusalem, all that stuff, the Prophet said, the fitna, any fitna that will impact us as a ummah will always come from there first. Why? They were the first to receive the religion, and they will be the first to abandon it and water it down. Sorry, the truth is a bitter pill to swallow. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. Stay out of that politics over there. You Muslims jumping up and down because what's going on in Syria? Yeah, they got rid of their leader. So you think they replaced him with something better? Y'all forgot that that's where Al-Qaeda comes from? Did y'all forget that Al-Qaeda and ISIS is Syria? Look what done happened. You jumped out the pot to the frying pan. Here we go. Didn't I tell you, get ready? Didn't I tell y'all, get ready for the bombings? Killing of innocent children here in America and in Europe. Get ready for this filth that these terrorists who call themselves Salafi too are into. Didn't I tell y'all this would happen? All of this is setting for the war where the 80 nations, the United Nations, will declare war against Islam. The Prophet already told us this would happen. So y'all hooping and hollering about, oh, Syria's liberated. Are they liberated? They are not liberated. Nobody on this earth is, because Allah is controlling this war. Allah is controlling this war, and he's angry. He's angry at you Muslims, at us, for having deviated away from the traditional Islam, for having adapted our own laws and rules into it. Until you Muslims in the world, which you won't, but until you understand, which you won't, that Allah is in control, this is just spreading. I told y'all, get ready for the terrorists. And here they are. They done blew up some crazy people down there in New Orleans. Getting ready to do some bombings here and bombings there. United Kingdom, get ready. Australia, get ready for your restaurants to be blowed up. Your children to be killed. All in the name of jihadists and all that. Y'all better stay out of the politics of the world. Understand that Allah is the governor of all affairs. Allah is the one in control. And we will reap what we sow. And that's what we're doing. As a nation, we are all reaping what we have sown. And we're deserving of every single bit of it. And there's a lot more to come. So get ready. All right. Okay, so that's my explanation for today. My don't get it twisted. Y'all say y'all like my little don't get it twisted shorts. Don't get it twisted. All right, so let's get on with the class now, because I got some people angry here. They're nuking me. I don't care. Keep on nuking. All right, so let's get started here. We've been speaking about the sins of disbelief. And we talked about one of the sins of disbelief is to associate partners with Allah. I gave you guys a quiz yesterday, and I was so proud of all of you. My new shahadas and the old Muslims, all of you made me proud, because you seemed like you understood what it means to associate partners with Allah in our obedience. A lot of us associate partners with Allah in our obedience. A lot of us associate partners with Allah in the words that we use. A lot of us associate partners with Allah in many different ways. Well, today I'm going to speak about one of the reasons why Allah has brought this war. And this war is not going to stop. Y'all can praise the terrorists all y'all want to. Okay? Those terrorists y'all praising in Syria, get ready. They getting ready to send all kind of ISIS, Al-Qaeda rockets all over to kill innocent people. And I want y'all to know, they already say ain't no Muslims in America. Did y'all know that? Y'all didn't know that then overseas, that those countries, they say everybody living in America is a kafir. Y'all didn't know that? Oh yeah, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, let them tell it I'm a kafir. So are you, because we live in America. We're all kafirs. So they'll just let their bombs fly, kill us all because we're kafirs. All right, get ready. And y'all keep applauding what's going on in Syria. Y'all keep applauding the politics of stupid man, which is really the punishment of Allah. Keep on. But anyway, we're going to speak about one of the causes for Allah sending this war and other wars. And that's to speak about him without knowledge. Remember, I told you guys, Allah, arrogance. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, arrogance is Allah's robe and pride is his garment. It belongs to him. Allah does not like when people speak about him without knowledge. Allah does not like it when we say that things are haram, like makeup, when it's not. He doesn't like when we say that it's haram for a woman to teach, when he didn't say that. He doesn't like this for you when you say that it's haram to wear colors, when he didn't say any of that nonsense. This is all speaking about him without knowledge. It's lying on him. He doesn't like when we take verses of the Quran and misconstrue the meaning of them. He doesn't like when we lie on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by taking hadiths, using them out of context, like telling women they have to drink the blood of your cut, and they need to start licking your feet and bowing to you. Oh, that makes Allah angry. And that's another one of the reasons why he sends the war like he's sending. So that's what we're going to speak about today. Another form of associating partners with Allah. And this is known as speaking about him without knowledge. Let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Okay. Let's see, inshallah, you guys should be able to see this. If I can move this thing out the way. If I could get this Zoom thing to stay out the way, I'd be all right. Yeah, Zoom. Okay, here we go. Let me put this down so y'all can see. Yeah, so the sins of disbelief. Tonight we're going to be addressing speaking about Allah without knowledge. Make sure you guys take screenshots of these hadiths too. First of all, whenever you read a verse from the Quran, or whenever you read a hadith, and you really don't understand the meaning of it, you don't know the history. What do I mean by that? You don't know what happened to cause Allah to say whatever he is saying in the Quran. You don't know the who, what, where, when, why that caused the prophet to do or say what he did. That's what the word hadith means. Hadith means what the Prophet Muhammad said and what the Prophet Muhammad did. You don't know the background, but you sit there in your study group trying to explain what Allah was saying, or you trying to explain what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and you're not qualified. And you're not qualified because you have not been taught by the people of knowledge. You don't know the history. You don't know the who, what, where, when, why. Okay? This is a form of associating partners with Allah. Why? Because number one, just like in our Maqasidic Tafsir class, there's a science to learning the Quran and using it. There's also a science to the Hadith. In fact, the same science that we use, that the Quran interpreter uses, is the same science of connectivity, terminology, history, biography, and all of that. The same science is used with the Hadith. You don't know that. You don't know the history. You don't know the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You don't know about his wives and who they were. You don't know the details of who his companions were. You don't know the history of how Islam began and the wars, the battles, and how it spread. You don't know about the Caliphate of Abu Bakr. You don't know anything about Umar. You don't know this stuff. So what makes you think you're qualified to tell people the meaning of a hadith or the meaning of a verse of the Quran? All you're doing is probably following your own desires, or maybe your jinn, your personal jinn is inspiring you. Okay? So whenever we speak without the proper knowledge or the proper methodology about this religion, we are committing a major sin, guys. Whenever you say that Allah means this or Allah means that, and you don't know that, you're lying on Allah. You're speaking without knowledge of Him, and this is one of the worst sins that we can commit. And there are, unfortunately, a lot of Muslims today committing this sin. That's why Allah ain't taking what's going on in Syria and Gaza and the rest of the world away, because it's going to be here too. It also already started with the blow up. Okay? We got to be careful of this. Brothers, for example, telling you sisters that it's haram to show your face. It's haram to wear makeup. Where's their evidence? They'll go and get some verse of the Quran that ain't got nothing to do with makeup, ain't got nothing to do with anything. I'll give you an example. How many of you have heard brothers tell you that you can't wear a shoe with a heel on it? That you going to hell if the shoes you have on have heels? You ask them, well, why would Allah do this to me? Where does Allah say that? Allah says, oh, you women who believe, whenever you go to the marketplace, don't stomp your feet to bring attention. They say that's the dalil. That's a lie. That verse ain't got nothing to do with a high heel shoe. That verse is speaking about how the Arab women used to gain attention before Islam. Before Islam, women were viewed as nothing more than a piece of meat. And if she wanted to be acknowledged, she'd have to go out her house and bring attention to herself. Many women were prostitutes, and the ones that weren't prostitute, if they wanted to be acknowledged, they had to do the same. So what the women would do was put their bangles on their ankles and their bangles on their arms. That's jewelry that jingles. It's not haram to wear bangles. But what these women would do is they'd go to the marketplace. If they wanted attention for sex or food or groceries, they would stomp their feet to make the bangles shake and jingle, to make the click click from the bangles, to get the attention of the men. That's what that verse is talking about. It ain't got nothing to do with the shoe. Every shoe has a heel. It has to do with women prostituting themselves. But you hear brothers tell you sisters that it's haram to wear a shoe with a heel. I wear heels. I wish some brother would tell me I can't wear my heels. That heel might drop kick you. I just might use that heel to drop you. You got to be careful what you say to some women, because some women ain't going to fall for that speaking without knowledge. Remember, ignorant men are for ignorant women. Intelligent men are for intelligent women. And some of us women have no patience for a man that doesn't know the basics of Islam. So you just might get roundhouse kicked. I'm just telling the truth. Because some of you brothers are ridiculous with this stuff. Y'all make the telling your wife to lick the blood of your finger, to suck your blood. That's sick. So that's an example. If you don't know the history or what Allah is talking about, then you better keep it shut. Because to say, for example, that Allah said it's haram to wear high-heel shoes, you're lying on Allah and you're committing a sin known as shirk, association. Okay? Where's my dalil? Y'all see how the people have to do? If you're going to speak about this religion, if you're going to say things about this religion, you have to bring the clear evidence like I'm getting ready to do. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Say to them, my Lord has only forbidden open and secret indecencies. He's also forbidden sinfulness. He's also forbidden, like what happened today in New Orleans, unjust aggression. And he's also forbidden associating others with him in worship and attributing things to him that you don't know. There's the dalil. There's the clear proof that when you say that Allah meant this or Allah meant that and you don't know it, that's what Allah has forbidden. And that's one of the things that he hates the most. So you brothers that use that verse of the Quran and y'all think it's dalil about heels, you better first grow some brains, because that verse doesn't mention nothing about a shoe. It's talking about a bangle to attract attention, to get the attention of men. Subhanallah, people. All right, and there's the verse, the surah and the verse number. So, speaking about Allah or his religion without knowledge also includes not only just ascribing something falsely to Allah, but also changing or altering religion. Let's use the example that we've been using all week, because one of our new shahadas was told that he's a kafir, that he is still not a Muslim. Because even though he declared La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, he didn't add to it ana salafiyya. He didn't say ana salafiyya. And because he didn't say ana salafiyya, his shahada is not accepted. That's an example of changing or altering the religion of Allah. You call yourself a Salafi, and here you done committed a sin of disbelief. Where does Allah say that we have to add to the shahada ana salafiyya? Where does the Prophet Muhammad say that when you declare shahada or testimony of faith, you have to include the words ana salafiyya? Where does Allah say unless you do that, you're a kafir? Where does Allah say that he doesn't accept your shahada? This is speaking about him or his religion without knowledge. This is a sin of disbelief. Also, to deny what Allah has said. Allah said gold is only forbidden for the males of this nation, not the females. Allah also said silk and satin is only forbidden for the men of this nation, not the women. You call yourself Salafi, but you're going to tell that brother that his wife can't wear gold, that his wife can't come out the house with silk on, that she has to wear black and a burlap sack and cover her face, even though Allah says that it's only forbidden for the men of this nation, not the women. The Prophet's wives wore silk. The Prophet's wives wore gold. The Prophet's wives never wore black. They never wore any dark colors unless they were in mourning the death of someone. This is another example. That's why I'm telling you, new shahadas, be careful of these people. The ones that claim to be Salafi, many of them are the biggest deviants. They're going to deny the things that Allah said you can do. Okay? Also confirming what he has denied. Another example. How many of these brothers smoking marijuana? Oh yeah. The so-called Salafi put the fatwa out saying that it's okay to smoke weed. Allah said all intoxicants are haram. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said anything that befogs the brain is haram. But this brother claimed to be Salafi. He said, oh, that's all hogwash. You can smoke weed. Oh my goodness. Y'all see that? Sins of disbelief. Also affirming something that Allah said is false. Declaring something false that is true. Another example, Allah says there will be no Christians and no Jews in paradise. Allah says Moses was not a Jew. Jesus was not a Jew. Jesus was not a Christian. They were Muslims. These same brothers telling y'all that there will be Christians and Jews in paradise. Allah says there will anyone, he says anyone who dies upon a way other than Islam, it will never be accepted. That's the Quran. But these brothers are telling y'all that's not true. Y'all see this? Y'all see why this war ain't going nowhere. Y'all see why Allah sent it and why we are in the beginning of the war against Islam. Also, speaking about knowledge is to support something that Allah dislikes or opposes. How many of these brothers, let's talk about the other spectrum. You got the so-called Salafis on one hand. Let's go to the Sufi Mu'tazila now. The Mu'tazila. They're telling you that it's okay to support the LGBTQ. It's okay for us to march with the gay people. It's okay for us to be with them because the good outweighs it. Who said that? Allah said there ain't no good in LGBTQ. That's why he destroyed a whole nation of people. That's why he made it one of the 10 commandments. That's why that's one of the sins in Islam that brings capital punishment. But you're going to support the LGBTQ community. Many of you even voted for that female woman who's the LGBTQ head. This is a sin of disbelief. Speaking about Allah or his religion without knowledge, supporting something that Allah opposes or dislikes. You're supporting voting in Kafir elections. Allah says that's haram. The Prophet Muhammad said that's haram, but you supported it and you did it. Or liking something that Allah hates. You like the LGBTQ people. Allah hates them. Remember, he hates everything that he made haram. You like alcohol. Allah hates alcohol. That's why it's haram. Okay? Also, When a person speaks without knowledge in the religion about things that are related to the religion, what are you doing? Why does Allah hate this? Because you are changing the religion. You're making the religion oppressive. How many of you so-called Salafi brothers are the reason why we have a high apostasy rate amongst women? Because you've changed the religion. You've told women that they can't be what Allah created them to be, which is beautiful. And Allah loves beauty. You've made the religion ugly. You've made the religion oppressive. You got women thinking that they are back to being slaves and sex machines for their husband as they lick his pus and bow to him. You brothers got to answer for a lot. This is why we don't speak without knowledge, because you end up changing the true Islam. You end up making people hate Islam. You brothers that practice polygamy, instead of you practicing polygamy the way the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to, you're imitating LTC and the sister wives. You got all your women in the same house. You got them holding meetings together. And we're all just one big happy family. That's not Islam. We're not sister wives. We don't live in the same house. We're not one big family. You got your family and that's your business. My family and my kids is my business. Get out of my business. When you speak without knowledge, you change this religion. You make it ugly. You make it dirty. You make it oppressive. And that's why Allah hates that. Y'all understand that? And for those who think, I have a PhD. So because I have a PhD in psychology, who is this sister to tell me that I can't just read the Quran and Hadith and teach myself? I don't have to have a teacher in Islam. I want you to focus on this reality with your Mutazila PhD. If anyone could actually make the claim that they can read the Quran, read the Hadith with a pure heart, and understand what Allah is saying because they got such a good, close relationship with him, it would have been the original companions. And even the original companions would have never said or did anything like that. Allah tells us that no one is closer to him. He's closer to those original companions than anyone else. They will be amongst the forerunners, where you don't even know whether you going to heaven or hell. Okay? But you think with your Mutazila PhD, you can teach yourself this deen? Teach on. Okay? In fact, let me give you some examples as to what the companions, and by the way, pay attention. A lot of these brothers that call themselves Salafi, if they were teaching this class, you know what they would do? They would pull out their books from Imam Malik, or they would pull out their books from Ibn Taymiyyah, or they'll pull out their books from Sheikh Kamadam a dozen and give you examples of what those people said. Well, I'm going to show you what true Salafi is. Here's examples as to what the companions said about speaking without knowledge. Abu Bakr. Who was Abu Bakr? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the first person who will enter paradise after me will be Abu Bakr. He's the best of this nation after me. So now, the four imams, may Allah bless them all. Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah bless him too, and I love all of them. By the way, we love them all. Ibn Taymiyyah is in my ijazah. I'm one of his students. So I'm not putting none of these brothers down, these scholars down. But I'm saying ain't none of them better than these companions. Don't none of them know what these companions know. Don't none of them out-trump them. Listen to what Abu Bakr said. He said, what earth would give me place to live? And what sky would shade me if I were to speak about the Quran based on my opinion or by something that I don't even know? You would never find Abu Bakr sitting there giving his opinion as to what Allah means about anything. Well, you know, Allah said when you go to the marketplace, don't stomp your feet. So that must mean that women can't wear high heel shoes. You would never find Abu Bakr making a stupid a mistake like that. Also, listen to what Umar had to say about speaking about this religion without knowledge. And who was Umar? Let me tell you. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the second person who will enter paradise after me will be Umar. Umar is the second best of this nation. And if Allah would have sent another prophet after me, it wouldn't have been Sheikh Albani. It wouldn't have been Sheikh Morsi. It wouldn't have been Imam Malik. It wouldn't have been Ibn Taymiyyah. It would have been Umar. May Allah be pleased with him. Listen to what Umar had to say. He said, beware of using your opinion when it comes to religious matters. How many of us put our opinion in? Well, I think it means this. I think it means that. No, what's the hadith? That's why I'm a stickler. That's why I'm hard on my students in that Zoom room. That's why I keep telling y'all, Mina, all of y'all, give me the hadith. Give me the dalil. It ain't about no opinion, because I don't teach y'all opinions. I don't give you my opinion. I got a lot of opinions about women in Islam and men too, but I keep it to myself. I'm going to tell y'all what Allah said about women and men. I'm going to tell you what the Prophet said about women and men, and I'm going to give you Aisha and the companions' understanding on that. Beware of using your opinion. So for the PhD Mutazila, ponder that. Take your PhD, watered down opinion, and flush it. Also, let's look to see what Ibn Abbas had to say about speaking about Allah and his religion without knowledge. Ibn Abbas, who was he? He was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's cousin. And he was the one whom the Prophet made dua for, asking Allah to give him a deep understanding of the Quran and to give him a deep understanding of the religion. Listen to what Ibn Abbas said. He said, all that there is to follow and obey is the book of Allah, which is the Quran, and the example of the Prophet Muhammad, which are the hadiths. That's it. He said, whoever makes any statement after those two things based on his opinion, then I do not know if you will find among his good deeds, among him good deeds or sins. That's why I tell y'all, be careful of these people y'all think are famous scholars, famous personalities. Most of these brothers and sisters got a lot of filthy background stuff going on. And Allah keeps exposing it every day. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. sex in the masjids, molestation. These people that speak are based on their opinion. And by the way, I'm going to talk about that right quick. I see there's a fatwa that was put out by the mystic Sufis again. Y'all know where they from. They got a fatwa saying that it's okay to say Happy New Year. Is that what Allah said? Is that what the Prophet said? Did the Prophet Muhammad say it's okay to say Happy New Year? Did he do that? What did the Prophet teach us to say? He taught us to say Walaikum, which means the same to you, and keep it moving. We don't go around saying Happy Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy Valentine's Day. Y'all better be careful of these brothers. They got 1 million followers. They famous. They probably in your masjid giving lectures. Allah keep exposing them to be what they really are. As Ibn Abbas said, people that you look at, you will think that they got all these good deeds, but they sitting there with a lot of sins, a whole lot of filthy, degenerate sins. So thus, guys, speaking without knowledge is a major sin in Islam, and all of us have to avoid it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an hadith that when ignorant of something, what's the source of this hadith, Bukhari and Muslim? He said, if there's something that you don't know about this religion, ask the people of knowledge. But the problem is that most Muslims today don't know who the people of knowledge are. Most of us today, we think that because this channel over here got 5 million followers, that person must be a scholar. Because that person travels around the world and lectures, they must be a scholar. But that's not true. More than likely, they are all allies of Shaitan. Because remember, guys, Shaitan has more followers than Allah does. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad said, search throughout the land. You will only find a handful of true people upon the traditional Islam. Most will be upon innovation and deviation. So how can you recognize if a person is a person of knowledge? Well, everything they teach, everything they say about Allah, about this religion, about the Prophet, they should be able to back it up with clear evidence from the Quran or clear evidence from the authentic hadith. And if something is not clear, they should be able to give you the understanding that the original companions had, and I do mean originals. If they don't do that, if they're just speaking and there's no evidence, they're not quoting no companions, you don't hear nothing about the Prophet coming out their mouth, all you hear is Imam this, Sheikh that, Mufti this, then these are not people of knowledge. Stay away from them. And I'm here to tell you guys, when I listen to a lot of these Q&A shows from a lot of these speakers, most of them are Mu'tazila. But when I listen to their Q&A shows, I don't know how any of y'all can listen to them because they don't never give no hadiths. It's always their opinion. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Can I braid my son's hair? No. Why would you do that? This looks like a girl. Why would you have your son looking like a girl? Those are the type of answers you get. Is that what the Prophet said? The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he arrived in Medina with Abu Bakr, the Prophet Muhammad's hair was in braids. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. But here this brother telling y'all, oh, astaghfirullah, you can't put your son's hair in no braids. He looks like a girl. Let's imitate the girl.
Astaghfirullah. What you mean a sister wearing makeup? She can't wear makeup. That's attracting the attention of men.
Who said that?
The prophet's wives wore kohol.
Allah sent down the verses about the hadith when Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, had taken the people, had went to the people on Hajj to tell them. And when his wife, the daughter of the prophet, said, she said, I wish you had told me, because I wouldn't have taken off my kohol. She was making Hajj. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. What is kohol? It's what Laila wears. It's what y'all call today makeup. But this is kohol. That's all I wear. I don't wear nothing but kohol. Subhanallah. So that's how you can tell. They're going to tell you that you got to lick my blood because I'm your husband. Where's the hadith that says women have to lick men's blood? Women have to lick your pus. That hadith doesn't say that. The prophet never told no woman to lick her husband's pus. That's not what that hadith says. He's a liar. He's speaking about without knowledge. He's oppressing you. All right. So I'm going to stop right